Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. My name is Daniela Schwartzman, Strategic Partnerships Manager here at BayWa RE, and I am very excited to have Briggs Stratton here today. Thank you so much, Rodolfo, for being here. We are going to have a deep dive into Power Up with SimpliPHI, dive into Briggs Stratton's battery system. And while everyone is logging on, a little bit of housekeeping. Make sure you're familiar with the different buttons. The Q&A one is your most important button today. So we will monitor that throughout the webinar. That is your way to participate, share comments with us, questions that we can answer here live. We are not going to use the chat except for two things. You can check out the chat for some of the important links if you want to learn more about how you can benefit working with BayWa. And also if you want to check out the products on our web store. So the SimpliPHI battery, the Briggs Stratton products are on our web store. So yeah, let's dive right in. Power Up with SimpliPHI, dive into Briggs Stratton's battery system. I'm here with Rodolfo Garza. He is the distribution sales channel manager at Briggs Stratton. Hi, Rodolfo. Thanks for being here.
Hello, Daniela. How are you doing? Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Very happy to be here and have the opportunity to talk to you about Briggs Stratton and our different battery solutions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Before we get started, let's share some information about BayWa RE, just in case you haven't worked with us yet. I'd like to just share with you some of the key aspects how you can benefit from working with us. So your success is our priority, and how we ensure that is through a couple of things. Forecasting, you have a dedicated account manager that is available for you to provide you any kind of guidance so you can plan effectively with accurate forecasting and making sure that your homeowners are serviced efficiently. Our easy-to-use web store, again, the link is in the chat. You can have access to up-to-date pricing and immediate ordering, very simple purchasing process. It's everything in one tool from previous orders, invoicing, everything is right there at your fingertips. Commercial services, our specialized commercial services desks. We offer expert planning, precise product inventory forecasting for any of your commercial projects, assisting you with commercial design, planning, and more. Because of our centralized structure, you can benefit from consistent pricing across all strategically located U.S. warehouses, eliminating any unexpected fees. And those warehouses are there for you, so you can easily access the products that you need wherever you are in the country. We offer job site delivery. So with a convenient direct job site delivery, products can be delivered straight to your job or construction site without the need of any middle warehouse. So if you are a US-based solar installer, not yet working with us, please check out the links and learn more about how you can benefit from working with us. And the representative will be reaching out to you immediately. All right. Now, let's hear from you, Rodolfo. I'm going to hand it over to you. Take it away.
All right. So let me share. Give me a second here.
While you chair, Rodolfo, just one more note. We have a big team here available for you in this webinar. I would like to introduce you very briefly to Nathan Heston. He's the Senior Training Manager, and he is here to support with any kind of questions you have. So he'll be also monitoring the Q&A. So thank you, Nathan, for being here with us as well.
It's good to be with all of you, and as Daniela said, feel free to use the Q&A throughout this presentation, and note that there are slide numbers on the slide, so if you have questions that you want to get to towards the end, you can note the slide number as well. So welcome, everyone.
Okay. Daniela, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, you're good to go.
All right, perfect. Okay, let's get started. I want to start just giving a quick introduction about Briggs Stratton, who we are as a company. A lot of you might have heard the name Briggs Stratton. It's a US-based company started in 1908. So it's a company that has been around for over 117 years in more than 100 countries, factories on many different countries. We have, as you can see on the map, several factories within the US, or lithium-ion battery factory for energy storage. It's based in Oxnard, California. That's a factory started building LFP batteries in 2010 and still building batteries up to this day. So we are not just moving into the US to build batteries. We've been building batteries for a long, long time. We're one of 5 divisions from Briggs & Stratton. We are the energy solution divisions that incorporate the batteries and generators. I want to say quickly, everybody's going to get a copy of the presentation and the recording. So I might not touch on every bullet point, but you'll get a copy of the presentation. Okay. About batteries, as I was saying, we've been working with batteries for a long time. So we are not new to building batteries. We actually started in 1973 and developed an electric car. A lot different from cars you see these days, different technology. This is a very heavy, big lead acid battery, 72 volts that Briggs developed at the time. And 1996, we created a battery for an electric mower. And as I mentioned previously, it was 2010 when we developed the first lithium iron phosphate. The same technology we're using up to these days. We were one of the pioneers using this technology, and everybody else is following the same steps and moving into that technology. And that takes us up to last year when we developed our latest and greatest, the SimpliPHI 6.6 battery. And that's the battery we're going to talk a little bit more later on. Come on. Okay, second. Okay, there you go. I just want to point out, we have different business development managers in our team. So we work very closely with the BayWa sales team. So when you talk to your BayWa rep, you also have access to talk to the Briggs & Stratton sales team. So you get full support from the very beginning. We'll be happy to help you get every document you need, specs, sizing, and even afterwards, we have a really great tech support that can help you guys get everything you need and all the systems to get your system up and ready. All right, let's jump into our battery products. I want to point out that we work very closely with Solarc. Solarc is an American inverter company that has been around for many years. They were one of the first that developed this hybrid concept of an inverter integrating charge controller, an all-in-one system. So Solarc provide what they call a Swiss Army inverter that pretty much can do it all. And we're going to touch base a little bit more about what you can get with this combination using the SimpliPHI batteries alongside with the Solarc inverters. So I just want to point out, we are inverter agnostic. Our battery can be used with multiple inverters, but Solarc has been our preferred partner when it comes to pairing our battery with an inverter. Okay. When we talk about energy solutions, we want to see the system as a fully integrated system incorporating not just batteries and inverters, but also a generator. That creates a very resilient system. When you have situations that you have a bad climate and you cannot get solar power, you have the generator that's going to be a secondary source of power. So that's going to complement your system, especially if you're off-grid or you have a very prolonged power outage. And the battery capacity is not big enough, you can always count on a generator. And if you have a system with just a generator, a lot of time it's not going to be very efficient to run very light loads with a big generator. So you want to add a battery system that is going to be able to charge from the generator, take over the loads, and you can shut down the generator. So this is a good complement when you have batteries, inverters, and generator as a complete system. Okay, we got different systems that they're available to you. This is an all-in-one, fully integrated solution. It's an outdoor-rated cabinet, NEMA 3R, that incorporates a solar 12K inverter with up to 6 batteries in one single cabinet. So you get 22.8 kilowatt hours. So this is an all-in-one unit, can be placed indoor or outdoor, and you can have multiple systems to grow in power and energy. So we have customers that have gone with 3 of these cabinets to even create a 3-phase 208. That's an option you can get with a solar 12K and 15K. You can have just a simple split system, 120 to 40, or you can also have a 3-phase 208 as well. And if you want to grow in capacity, we have our battery-only cabinets where you can extend your battery capacity with the 2 types of cabinets. We got the Bus 6, where you can put up to 6 batteries for an added 22.8 kilowatt hours, or the Bus 12 with up to 12 batteries for 45.6 kilowatt hours. And you can stack as many cabinets as you want. We had, I think the biggest one we have had is we had somebody did a 10 cabinet system with a Bus 12. So that's 120 batteries. So a very large and robust system. And all of these systems are UL 9540 certified, and they have been tested by UL 9548 requirements.
For those others, if I could continue here, there's a direct question here about your battery and what you were just talking about. So what about cold climate exterior installation?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. One of the advantage of this battery system that it allows to incorporate heating pads for cold climates. So you see on the top photos on the top, there's some snow on the ground. So these batteries, it's kind of hard to see, but we have a heating blanket that goes underneath the batteries and heat the batteries enough so they can operate on a very cold conditions. So you can place these batteries pretty much anywhere on extreme temperatures, and they can be placed outdoors. We have had systems in New York on the Brooklyn Library on the roof of the library. We're actually one of the few companies that have approval to do outdoor systems in New York, and temperature is not a problem. And also these batteries let us scale the system for very large systems. With the SimpliPHI, that is a 3.8 kilowatt hour module. We have a maximum of 60 batteries that we can put in a system because of the closed loop restriction in the communication. So that's about 220 kilowatt hours on a single system. But with the 3.8 without the closed loop, there is basically no limit on how big you can scale up the system. We can see on the photo on the bottom right, we have a system with 90 batteries sitting against the wall. So 90 batteries are going to give you about 330 kilowatt hours in capacity. This system is paired with 7 solar 15K inverters. So it's a very large system in power and capacity. Okay, so what we want to talk about today is, as I said, latest and greatest, the SimpliPHI 6.6 stackable battery. This is a battery that it was designed and developed by Briggs Stratton with US engineering. It is not manufactured in the US as the other products are, But every battery, every component, it comes to our battery factory in California and still goes through 100% testing. So the base, the battery controller, it goes into the production line and everything is 100% tested. So we want to make sure you guys get the best quality of the product. Even though it's not assembled in the US, we still follow very restricted rules when it comes to quality. Okay, so this battery system, it gives you different options. It has the options to be installed indoor or outdoor. It has IP65 rating for outdoor installations. And also you have the option to install the battery, two different mounting options. One, you can have the battery sitting on the floor. We have a specific base that is a floor base. You can sit the battery on the floor, or we have a wall mount base when you can have the battery up on the wall if you want to have some clearance between the battery and the floor. So it gives you those two options, indoor, outdoor, and also put it on the floor or put it on the wall. Okay, so this battery system, there are three components that build this battery system. As I said before, the base, we have two different bases. Right now we're showing a floor base. And the battery module is a 6.6 kilowatt hour battery module. You can have up to 3 batteries in one single stack, but you can also have a single battery with 6.6 kilowatt hours. You can have a 2 battery stack or 3 battery stack. And you can go up to 6 stacks in one single system for a total of 120 kilowatt hours on a single system. And right on top, we have our battery controller that is a stack controller. So there are a couple LEDs on the system. One is an LED on the battery. That's a status LED that when the battery is up and running, it's going to be solid green. If the battery is going through a firmware update, it's going to be blinking, or if the battery is in a lockdown situation, it's going to be blinking. The controller has 4 LEDs. That gives you state of charge of the battery on a 25% increment. And then you have one more LED that's going to be blinking when the battery is charging. So if you are over 50% and the battery is charging, you're going to have 2 green LEDs on the left, and the third LED is going to be blinking. Once you go over 75%, you have 3 solid LEDs, and the fourth LED is going to be blinking. The controller has a power button. So when you install the battery system, the whole battery stack is shut down. So you press the button once you have all the connections ready to go. You press it for a few seconds, and then LED will go green, and then you know your battery is ready to go. And also want to show here what type of connector we use between battery stacks. So there are many different battery stacks in the market, but a lot of them you still need to put cables and wires from one battery to the other one. We have this rapid stack connector that connects all the power communication from one battery to the other one to the controller. And this rapid stack is connected in a way that it makes the battery more robust and resilient. So if you have one of the 3 batteries in the stack that goes in a lockdown situation or shuts down for any reason, the other 2 batteries are going to keep working. So if one battery goes on a lockdown, it doesn't mean that your full battery stack is going to stop working. You're going to have the remaining 2 batteries are going to keep up and running because of the communication and the closed loop with the inverter. The battery is going to indicate to the inverter there is a drop in capacity. So it's going to make adjustments on the settings for the inverter. So that makes the system more robust. So if you lose one battery, you don't lose the full stack. The other 2 batteries are still up and running. And we have alignment pins you see here at the bottom. So when you stack one battery on top of the other one, those alignment pins help to guide the battery and make sure you have a proper setting and connections between batteries on every stack. Okay, I just want to give a little bit of information about the spec of the battery. There's a few things to point out. End-of-life capacity is 75%, and we have a warranty of a 10-year warranty. So after 10 years, you still should have more than 75%. And that's higher from industry standard. A lot of our competitors' end-of-life is 70, 65, or even 60%. So we have a higher capacity of end-of-life. So that means on a 3-battery stack, 20 kilowatt hours. After the end of life, what we said after 10 years, you should still have about above 15 kilowatt hours remaining capacity on your battery life. And that battery can still be used if that meets the energy you need for your system. Also, something I want to point out on the discharge temperature, we have on the charge temperature, the lower end of the temperature, we have a wider range from the typical temperature you see on lithium ion. Normally, lithium ion batteries, they don't like to be charged below freezing. So that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Because we're using a special electrolyte within our cells, that allows our batteries to run at the lower temperature. So they can be charged even at 14 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you have an outdoor rated system or an system that's going to be going outdoors, if you have a temperature that is not going to go below 14 Fahrenheit, this is a great solution. And it makes the system more efficient, so you don't need to add, heating blankets, heating elements that you create a parasitic loads on the system. So this battery can be used at low conditions without any problem.
Rodolfo, if I could jump in here, there is a question as you're talking about end of life. An interesting question came up. So our attendee asked, I have several older Centrex systems with AGMs needing replacement. How well does SimpliPHI integrate? So talking about replacing, repowering, how well does your battery integrate?
Yeah, I mean, our previous battery, 5 and SimpliPHI, they have been known to be a great solution for lead acid replacement because of the size. And a lot of the system using lead acid, they have, all technology without closed loop communication. So this battery can still be used on an open loop as long as the system charger and inverter can be set up properly with the right parameters. It shouldn't be a problem to use this system on an open loop. The PHI 3.8, that's the battery that does not incorporate communication. So that's why that's been the preferred battery when it comes to lead acid replacement. But this one can be used as well, as long as the inverter charge controllers can be set up properly. And if they can let us know what system they have, we'll be happy to work with installers, see what will be the equivalent sizing in capacity, what equipment they have, if the system can still be used with this battery and can be programmed properly. We can work with the installer and give them a solution.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. And you'll see on the cycle life, the battery has 6,000 cycles at a very fast charge and discharge rate. So that's a 2-hour charge, 2-hour discharge. You can still reach 6,000 cycles. So that is, I didn't do the math, but maybe 17 years with a very heavy cycle. So normally the batteries are not cycle that quickly. Normally people charge them maybe like a 5-hour charge and 5-hour discharge. So you can expect to have a bigger cycle life with a milder charge and discharge currents.
Just a little time check. We are 25 minutes in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. So we, as I said, we work very closely with Solar. And one of the advantages with Solar is that we can create different package solutions that can be customized. So you can go with a small inverter. The smallest one they have at this moment is the 8K. They used to have 5K. I don't think that they're doing that anymore. So you can go with a small inverter and a small battery used to power some essential loads. You can go mid-size with a 12 kilowatt inverter with maybe a couple batteries. And you can have a whole home solution. Go with a bigger 15 kilowatt inverter and a 3 battery system. One of the things I like about the 15K inverter that it can give you a 200 amp pass-through capability. So you can feed from your main line into the 200 amp panel. The inverter can be placed between the main line and the panel and serve as a transfer switch. And you can do a whole home backup. And you can size the battery as needed. 3 battery is going to be fully support 15K. The 15K out of the battery is going to pull out 12 kilowatts of continuous power. A 3 battery stack can put out 14 kilowatts of continuous power. So 3 battery in the 15K, that's a system we see a lot of customers that they go with that solution. And we have in the website, just pointing out on the left, a very great integration guide that it walks you step by step how to do an installation. It even lists what equipment is needed from the very beginning, from unboxing the battery all the way down to final installation. Okay, so we're going to stop here. We're going to do a quick poll question. We want to hear from the audience about these questions.
Yeah, let's jump right in. When it comes to battery system, do you prefer an all-in-one battery inverter system from a single brand or an agnostic system where you can choose the battery and inverter of different brands? So A, all-in-one, B, agnostic system, or C, I don't really have a preference. All right, if you could vote, it's very easy. It looks like agnostic systems has a little bit of a lead, but it's still coming in. Yeah, it looks like agnostic systems has a little bit of a lead, but also all-in-one systems on no preference. Rodolfo, how would you comment if you're looking as the results are coming in?
Yeah, that's what we normally see happening in the market. I mean, we have that sector that they like to have like an all-in-one solution, and the other half of the installers and people, they want to have a flexibility to choose the right inverter for the system, the right battery for the system, and do a combination. So I think what we're seeing on the poll, like a little bit agnostic ahead of the voting, but some people have no preference. So yeah, it's kind of like half and half. We that's kind of what we typically say.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep going. Okay, so let's talk about some installations. We're going to give you some examples of installation and where these systems work. This is an outdoor installation with a 3 battery stack with a solar 15K. Some of the advantage of this type of system that it gives you a lot of flexibility. Going with a solar inverter allows you to do both AC coupled solar system as well as a DC coupling. So if you have a user, homeowner that has an existing solar array using microinverters, you can still bring your solar inverter, bring that solar power in AC from the microinverters. And when you add the solar, you can add additional DC solar. So you can do both AC, DC, and even a combination of both. It allows you to integrate a generator very easily. The solar has a generator input, so you can bring a generator into the system that is going to be controlled by the solar. So you can set it up so when the battery reaches a specific low voltage or percentage on capacity, you can set an automatic signal and start the generator. And once the battery is fully charged, you can send a signal and just shut down the generator. You can very easily scale power from energy, and I'll show some examples later on. And as I said before, there's some redundancy. So on a 3-battery system, if one battery shuts down or locks on a locked situation, the other 2 batteries still up and running. This system also allows you to do a grid-tie connected system or off-grid. There's really not much difference between doing a grid-tie system or an off-grid system. You only have your grid input enable or disable, but everything else is going to be exactly the same. And the solar has the generator output can be used as a smart load to power a sub panel. So you can have a sub panel to be managed as a smart load. So you can set the system up so when the battery reaches a specific percentage, you can shut down that sub panel and just keep the remaining capacity for the bigger loads. The system is very easy to install and configure because of the closed loop communication between the battery and the solar. Commissioning the system, it happens very quick. You connect the cable, do a couple instructions, and all the parameters are loaded and pretty much ready to go. And we have very short lead times. All the product is available. I know that BayWa has plenty of stock of the different components of the system. So if you have a system where you need product right away, that's not a problem. This is another example of our AC retrofit. We see on the photos, there's a couple solar age inverters. So once you add a solar with some batteries, that solar age system is going to stay up and running during an off-grid situation. During a power outage, normally your solar system is going to shut down. But once you add this battery system, you create a microgrid, so your solar array keeps running during an off-grid situation. And with the solar, you can add additional DC solar if you want. So you have those 3 MPPT charge controllers that allow you to bring up to 19.5 kilowatts additionally on a solar array. This is another example of a very large off-grid system, a nice ranch somewhere in California. I don't know exactly where it is. So this customer decided to go with a 2 solar system to double the power capacity. So the input from your solar array with 2 solar 15 inverters, you can go up to 39 kilowatts on your solar input. With 4 battery stack, that's about 80 kilowatt hours of energy. You see in the middle below the inverter, when you have this many battery stacks and 2 inverters, you want to use a DC combiner. So all of the batteries are combined and you create a single battery block feeding into the 2 solar inverters. This system also is incorporating a big generator for a secondary source of power. So if you have days, very prolonged cloudy days, you can get the generator up and running and supplement the system, recharge the battery, and power the system. But you get a more sunny days to recharge the battery with your PV array. In these photos, I want to show you how you can separately scale power from energy. So the photo on the left, you double the amount of the inverters you have for the system and only keep a 3 battery stack. So you have the capability to go very large on your solar array. Keep in mind that even though you have 2 solar inverters, doesn't mean that you're adding 12 and 12 kilowatts on your output power, because in this case, that's going to be limited by how much power a single battery stack can put out. So as I said, a 3 battery stack can put out continuously 14 kilowatts of continuous power. So that's how much you can pull out between the 2 inverters. But that leaves room if later on you want to add another battery stack and grow your battery capacity. then you can have the ability to go up to 24 kilowatts on your output power. The picture on the left, on the right, sorry, you have one inverter, but you double the amount of batteries. So you double your runtime for your battery system. And you have the flexibility to add the batteries later on. From the very beginning, you can start with one stack or two stack, or you can wait, 6 months from now. If you have more loads in your system, you can go ahead and add another stack to have a longer runtime, depending on your.
Rodolfo, as you go through those sample battery systems, someone noticed the batteries being close to the inverter. Are there any clearances required?
Yeah, normally we want to have, and you'll see it on the spec, at least 6 inches between the battery and the inverter to allow for some ventilation. And on the solar manual also has some clearance requirement. You want to make sure, the photo on the left is an outdoor rated, so you have more ventilation when it's outdoor. But yeah, you see on the manual, there is a list of what's the clearance on the sides, on the top, on the bottom. But yeah, I think it is 6 inches at the minimum you want to have between.
Yeah, I'll jump here on this one, Rodolfo. So technically speaking, that we should have 6 inches between paralleled inverters, and then the cooling fans on the 15K inverter are at the bottom and the top. And so they only actually require 2 inches between the inverter and battery. But you'll want to make sure to follow those specifications. You can find those specifications in the integration guide as well as the Solarc manual. So it's good that we did note that here, as this system is not quite to Solarc's recommended specifications. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. All right, this is another example showing the different wall mount options. So you see this customer on the left, they only needed 26 kilowatt hours. So it's always preferable, instead of having a 3 and a 1 batteries in stack, you balance the system. So you have 2 batteries per stack. And this customer has the option, if later on they want to grow in capacity, they can add 1 battery to each stack and go from a 2 and 2 to a 3 and 3. Something what you see the photo on the right, and those are batteries that floor mount. This system is still not completed. We're missing the wire from the battery stack on the left. But yeah, once it's completed, you have a complete 6 battery stack. Another key point is the weight of the battery. Batteries are getting heavier and heavier because there's some competitors, they want to have big battery blocks. So they make those batteries very heavy, or they even incorporate the inverter into the battery. Some examples, Tesla and Franklin. You need a lift if you want to move the battery, mount it on the wall. Or battery is only 130 pounds. So one person can probably do a stack, put a battery on a floor mount, probably do 1 and 2 batteries. Put the 3rd battery on the top, might be a little bit heavy for one person, but 2 installers, that's fairly easy to lift the batteries without much problem. Another example you see on the left, this battery, and we're showing here on the red circle, this is a generator input. So you can have a battery system set up that can take a portable generator. The only requirement, it has to be a 240 volt generator to be able to feed into the solar. And we're seeing more and more these days, people going with a battery system without having a solar, going to apartment complex, so where they only want to have like a backup system. So the battery can charge from the grid, and then when you have a power outage, then you can use the battery and add a generator if the power outage goes for a long time. Another thing is this system can be programmed for time of use. So in California, we have different prices for electricity depending on the time of the day. So you can program the system, for example, 4 to 9 for electricity increases in price. You can program the system so you use energy from the battery and you power the loads from the battery when electricity is going to be expensive. And after 9 p.m., then you can go back and recharge the battery from the grid.
Rodolfo, you make a good point there, and I wanted to point out one more functionality of the Solarc, which is nice. You mentioned systems where you're using batteries without solar, and we've seen installations of the Solarc in condominium complexes in Florida where you don't really have the option to do typical traditional battery systems. In fact, I've seen systems in Florida that are operating off 2 legs of 3-phase power. So these condos will serve 208 power up to their customers. And the Solarc can nicely do 2 legs of 208. We've done that with the 8K, the 12K, and the 15K.
Thank you, Nathan. I also want to point out, like in California, after we got into NEM 3.0, you're losing a lot of solar power you're generating through the day. So instead of sending that excess solar energy back to the grid, you can get a couple batteries and use that solar excess power you're generating, put it into the batteries, and use that energy overnight. So you can become self-sufficient. You use your solar array during the day and use the batteries overnight. And that way your electricity bills is going to drop considerably. Okay, so we're going to stop on poll question number 2.
Yes. So when it comes to battery storage system, which feature is most important to you as an installer? Is it the price, the system brand, the system size, ease of installation, or other? Okay, let's see, please. Everybody participate so we can get a good idea what is most important to you. Beautiful, it's coming in. Ease of installation came in right away and quite strong. So it looks like that is a very important criterion. Followed by price. I'd be curious who responded with other. So if you want to put your comments in the Q&A sections, that would be great. Keep it coming. It looks like, oh, there's still some more. And I'm going to end the poll and let's see the results. So, Rodolfo, ease of installation, 48%.
That's great. I mean, I can say a system, it is very easy to install. And that's actually, we're moving into installation of the system. Okay, installing the battery. And I'll try to move a little bit quicker. I know we don't have a lot of time left. So as I said,
minutes.
Okay, perfect. We got a lot of documents into website. So in additionally to our operator manual that has all of the specs and characteristics of the product, do's and don'ts, as I mentioned earlier, we have an integration guide that walks you step by step what you need to install and fully install a system. Okay, so you're going to start with the base of the battery. As we said, it can be a wall mount base or it can be a floor base. So the base is they have different locations for the screws. So you want to make sure when you're installing the system, you find the studs, you make it robust and secure. I want to say our system has been certified for seismic certification for California. So that is a requirement that we have certification if that's needed for seismic installations requirement. And then you have the battery brackets. Each battery comes with the wall bracket. So you always want to have the battery secured to the wall to make it a very robust system and not preventing the battery from falling over. So each battery comes with what a T. You have an horizontal bracket and a vertical bracket. You want to make sure brackets are well aligned because they're going to be the ones securing every battery module. As we said, we have alignment pins. So once you have your base, you start stacking up batteries and they click like a Lego. You want to say something, Nathan?
Yeah, I would just like to say this. I mean, Rodolfo, you're sharing the wall brackets here. I'd like to point out that this battery has gone through earthquake testing. It is earthquake rated, and so if you're in a location like me in California, that can be an important consideration. And Daniela, I think you were about to share some of the comments about the poll as well.
Yeah. I wanted to just share because I think it's really interesting. So other came in quality, so the quality of the product, but there's also reliability and customer experience. And one installer shared that we had installed multiple battery systems to be removed and replaced for different reasons. Could you comment a little bit on your customer service and how you could support installers?
Yeah, so we have a tech support team dedicated to talk to installers at the time they do the installations or afterwards. If there is a need to go back, our tech support team will work with the installer to do troubleshooting. As I said, we have a 10-year warranty. So our tech support team, they would work with installers to make sure they find out if anything went wrong, if anything needs to be replaced. As I said, I mean, I'm very proud to say that our tech support team is doing a great job supporting any need during the installation, afterwards, warranty. So yeah, I mean, and we have a phone number. If you go to website, you'll see a tech support line. They're always available and ready to help.
That's awesome. As you did explain all the details, there are more questions, specific use cases. There's one a comment question. We have winter temperatures well below 14 Fahrenheit this year. We were -10 for about a week. How does the battery respond to those temps if they cannot recharge? Does prolonged outside exposure shorten its life? That's one question. I have another one for you in a minute.
Correct. Yeah. If you're below 14 degrees, you don't want to charge the battery because that could eventually affect the battery. So you can leave the battery at 10 degrees on the standby and let the battery reach the temperature before you recharge the battery. Nathan, you want to add anything on that?
That's a great question, and I think that we have to answer this as honestly as possible. It is true for all lithium-ion batteries that that charging at prolonged cold temperatures is not good for the battery, and it leads to what's called lithiation, which is a buildup of lithium on the anode side of the battery. One of the things that we've done to kind of perfect this battery for lower temperature operation is use a reduced viscosity electrolyte, so an electrolyte that allows easier penetration into that graphite layer. Additionally, there is closed loop communications for this battery. It will automatically respond to the Solarc and slow down charging rates between 14 degrees Fahrenheit and 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So we put a lot of engineering into this battery to make it applicable for cold weather environments. That does not mean, though, that there aren't better options. So we have the ability to heat some of our other batteries in those cabinets that Rodolfo has shared. Additionally, if you're installing in a location where you're frequently in cold temperatures and going to be charging in those cold temperatures. So keep in mind, most batteries are not charging during the nighttime. They're charging during the day when solar is available and temperatures are typically above 14, even in cold locations where I'm from, near Buffalo, New York. But if you have the option to install inside a garage, especially on an interior facing wall, you're going to get better overall efficiency. So I don't want to prolong this too long, but batteries are also more efficient in warmer temperatures. So all these things should be taken into consideration when you're designing a system. And if you have questions, excellent questions like this one, we encourage you to engage the BayWa team and the Briggs Stratton team to help you plan that best system. So great question.
100%. Thank you so much. That's really appreciated to give a little bit more color to it and a best practice. So we are happy to go together with our partners from Briggs Stratton to help you answer these questions. There's one more question on the dimensioning, designing. Is one 6.6 battery all that is required for the system to operate correctly?
Yeah, I mean, you can start with a single battery system. The only limitation is going to be how much power output you're going to have from one battery. So you can start small, have a single 6.6 battery. Your capacity, as I said, is 6.6 kilowatt hours. And the power output from a single battery is going to be a 1C rate. So you get 6.6 kilowatt of available continuous power. But yeah, I mean, you can have and the good thing with the closed loop communication, that battery is going to talk to the solar inverter, and the inverter is going to know you only have the capacity and the power from a single battery. So that's going to protect the battery from an over discharge and overcharge situation.
I see Nathan is here. Do you want to take a stab at the next question? We talked about those very cold temperatures, but let's go to the other extreme and talk about 38 degrees Celsius ambient temperature. And I believe the question is here, how does the battery behave and how does it impact?
Yeah, so this is a great question as well. On the discharge side of things, this battery can discharge from -4 Fahrenheit all the way up to 60 degrees. -4 Fahrenheit all the way up to, and I don't know it in Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, I think it's about 140 Fahrenheit, but 60 Celsius. So a temperature of 38 degrees, an ambient temperature of 38 degrees, the battery can safely discharge itself, even if its internal temperature goes up to 60 degrees Celsius. So typically, warmer temperatures are getting more overall efficient systems. Solar efficiency goes down a little bit, but battery efficiency goes up. I wouldn't be worried until external temperatures hit more like 45 degrees Celsius, which is quite hot. And then in that case, I would recommend that you don't put the battery in direct sunlight exposure if you can help it. So we have plenty of installations in high temperature locations where the battery is typically operating in the expected temperature ranges. So the charge range is up to 55 degrees Celsius on the charging side. And so generally you're going to have a good overall performance in warmer temperatures. It's less hard for battery companies to deal with that than it is to deal with the colder temperatures. So great questions.
Keep them coming. We have about 8 minutes left in our webinar. Rodolfo, take it away.
Okay, perfect. All right. So once you create your stack, we have some shoulder screws to keep the batteries in place. And then you have some cosmetic covers to, put it on the side and just have the battery looks nice with those covers. Okay. We have the conduit box. So that's the controller goes on the top. That's where you do all of the connections from the battery to the inverters. So we have your positive and negative connections and a grounding connection, as well as 2 communication ports. So positive and negative, that's easy. You're taking your plus minus going into the inverter or your DC combiner if you have multiple batteries. And for the communication, you have your communication port on the right. That's the one that's going to be connected into the solar. And we provide with every controller an adapter. This is a dongle that aligns the pin from the communicating port from the battery to the inverter. So you only need a Cat5, a network cable, to go from the battery to the inverter, and this adapter will make the proper communication. The communication port on the left, it goes to or accessory, that's an energy track gateway. That is another equipment that allows you to have single module battery monitoring. So you can get data on a 3 battery stack from each one of the 3 batteries, and you can do firmware update of troubleshooting on the battery system. So that is an option. It's an accessory that we provide as well.
Rodolfo, as we are nearing the end, maybe we could share some of the exciting news that we have going on in terms of like the programs we are currently running together.
Yeah, let's jump a little bit. Yeah, we're almost there, but yeah, let's jump on that and then we can go back. Something we want to make sure we mention to everybody here, we have different promotions running for installers. So we got this $1,000 promo. So if you want to try the system, you want to install the system for the first time, you're eligible to claim a $1,000 rebate. And that's a rebate. It comes directly to Briggs Stratton. So all you need to do is go to a website, provide a proof of purchase from BayWa. We'll send you a check for $1,000. In addition to that, we have a battery rebate for Elite IQ installer. This is a program we offer to every installer to join a program. It's very easy to get into the program. There's no cost or anything to it. Right now, we bumped our promo for you get $150 back for every battery you purchase. And this goes through August 31st, and then it's going to go back to a normal $100 per battery. So if you do your first 3 battery system right now, in addition to the 1,000, you can claim an additional $450. So you'll get a check back from us for $1,450 on the first 3 battery stack. If you're setting up a 6 battery stack, that's $1,900 going back to you. And if you go for a second system, you're not going to get the 1,000, but you can keep claiming the $100 per battery. That's unlimited. As many batteries as you install, you can keep claiming this rebate.
In fact, Rodolfo, we're giving that special promotion through August 31st, where you get $150 on each battery module that you purchase through BayWa.
Exactly, yeah. And you get listed. We have a where to buy or installer map. So you'll be placed into our map. So if you have customers coming to a website looking for an installer, they're going to see your name and they're going to be calling you asking if you can install a SimpliPHI battery system for them. Or if they come to us and we see that you are the installer in that location, we'll direct that lead your way. And you still get, free swag, some gears, marketing opportunities. So this is a great program. It doesn't cost anything, and you get a lot out of it, not just some money back, but a lot of different perks on that.
Thank you for sharing this. This is super exciting, especially the support that comes with that promotion, right? It's not just the monetary value here. To become an Elite IQ installer is also very easy. There's great support from the Briggs Stratton team. So I'm super excited to have us all be aware of that program.
Okay. All right. We got maybe 2 minutes. Let me just go back quickly here. I was going to say, when you're connecting a single battery stack to the Solar 15, the Solar 15 has a dual battery input. So you can use these bus bar combiners to bring a single forward cable and split it into the 2 battery ports. So you can maximize the charge and discharge current. Each port is limited to 200 amps. So if you want to maximize it to the 275, you need to take in consideration the 2 positive to negative connections. On a 2 battery system, each battery will take each of these battery connections. The Solar app, a lot of you guys might be familiarized with the Solar. My Solar, that's an app that is going to give you a lot of information on the system, what's happening from your solar array to the grid, to the loads, to the battery. You have a nice platform to overview the system and go back to the system and do any programming and setting on the system as well.
Yeah, and I don't want to prolong things here, Rodolfo. I know we're just about out of time. I do want to let you know that our technical support team can also help you with battery settings. So if you do have that MySolark app connected, you can give our technical support team permission to program that Solark for you, and we're happy to jump in and assist you if you're in an installation and you need some help.
Okay. I think this is the last poll question. I don't know, Daniela, if you want to go through it, if we have time.
No, let's jump to the takeaways. I think I would really love for you to sum this all up. I'm so appreciative of this deep dive. So why should somebody choose the SimpliPHI battery?
Okay, yeah. So as I said at the beginning, I mean, we're a US-based company. We're not a new company. We've been around for over 100 years. We've been building batteries for more than 15 years. We have a nice platform, the system that it has a nice app to, as Nathan said, we can go back and help you to set up the system, monitor the system. You get a pretty good quality product. I mean, there's a reason we've been around for over 100 years because we make good product. And the same Solar. I mean, they were one of the pioneers with the inverters with this type of a system. And you get a great quality on the battery and inverter. We're a world-based company with U.S. Manufacturing, U.S. tech support, sales support. You get all the support you need at different levels. We got a battery that, as I said, is an agnostic system. Solar is the preferred solution, but if you have another inverter, you can use that as well.
Rodolfo, I'd like to just go back to that very first poll question, and people said that, you know, the number one consideration when installing a battery system was ease of installation. I've got the opportunity to install about 12 or so of these stacks so far. I can tell you that this battery goes in extremely quickly and easily. Some of these real installations, if you watch the videos of us installing it in the factory, you know, on a training wall, it occurs over, I think, 6 minutes to fully button down a battery. A real installation occurs more like 30 minutes. I can also just attest to the fact that we've had excellent traction and performance with this battery. Several thousand of these battery modules operating out in the field and almost zero problems. So we've had a lot of great performance with this 6.6 battery. And the ease of installation together with the Solar options that BayWa offers, combine that with these promotions that we're running, I really think you should give this system a try.
Thank you.
As I said before, I mean, you get a lot of flexibility with this system. This same system can be used for grid tied, off grid, with a generator, without generator, with solar, without solar, AC couple, DC couple, a combination. So it gives you a lot of options. It's not like one single application. You can use this on a lot of different scenarios. It's very easy to scale. You have 6.6 kilowatt hour blocks. So you're not growing from big blocks to big blocks. So you can dial in the kilowatt hours that you need. And with the closed loop communication with the Solar, it makes a very robust system and, you know, a safety system that you can always monitor.
Excellent. And that concludes our webinar for today. Thank you so much, Rodolfo, Nathan, and the whole Briggs Stratton team for sharing this deep dive, really deep dive into your solution and beyond. This recording and also the presentation will be available to you, so you can look a little bit more detailed. And please reach out. Please reach out to your BayWa rep, to Briggs Stratton. Thank you all for attending today. I really appreciate the partnership. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Daniela.
Have a great rest of the day.